I have been conditionally approved, and now the next step of what I have to do is schedule an interview. I'm just gonna put those credit cards that this is applying to on the screen. But for you, in your case, TSA pre-check may benefit you over global entry because of the simple fact that you travel heavily within the US.
It's not that I don't want you here. It's something about the way you stare into my eyes. I know that I don't make things clear.
That is living proof that I need global entry because I'm tired. I'm tired of waiting in them long lines. I'm tired.
I know that I don't make things clear. I fall for you every time I try to resist.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Welcome to my channel.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome back. If you are a returning supporter or subscriber, thank you for tuning in yet again to another episode of Bree on TV, where I'm your host, Bree. In today's video, we are going to be talking about global entry, the first step of the global entry process, which is the application process that you fill out online. We will also be discussing what exactly is global entry, along with who, I guess in my personal opinion, it may, or up to Google, what Google says, who global entry will best benefit. At this current moment of me recording this global entry video, I have been conditionally approved, and now the next step of what I have to do is schedule an interview with a global entry immigration officer in person. So I have been conditionally approved enough to then give y'all the first step of what you would need to do if you were also like me thinking about applying for global entry. But if this is your first time tuning in, my name is Brianna. I currently work in aviation. So with me taking multiple trips international, coming back into the US, I have had to deal with, like any of y'all, I have had to wait in them long lines. So along with me being an avid traveler, I do want to give more of behind the scenes travel content here on my channel, because I would like to educate who I can educate, or I would like to share knowledge and experience that I go through in regards to travel. I made it my duty to apply for global entry at the beginning, or within the first week of 2023, which I have done. So Google says that global entry provides expedited customs and border protection processing into the US following international flights, like I mentioned. Since many international flights arrive at the same time, which I can heavily agree on, and I think that's the main reason why them lines be long. Global entry allows a trusted traveler to use kiosks, and I be eyeing them kiosks like, Brianna, you need to apply for fucking global entry, to clear immigration, and therefore eliminates immigration wait time. Global entry also provides the member with a known traveler number, KTN, which is the same number that you receive when you are approved for a TSA pre-check. It's important to know, they're letting you know right here, that global entry includes access to TSA pre-check. Like TSA pre-check, a 5-year global entry membership requires an online application, an in-person interview, and an application fee of $100. It says, note that several travel credit cards offer fee reimbursements for TSA pre-check and global entry. And I'm gonna just put I'm just gonna put those credit cards that this is applying to on the screen, because I personally do not own any of these credit cards, so I just had to pay $100. In layman's term, global entry is a U.S. Customs and Border Protection CBP program that allows expedited clearance for pre-approved low-risk travelers upon arrival into the United States. The first step in applying to global entry is you can do what I did, which is going to Google, typing in global entry application process, and then from there, that is how you can come to the Trusted Travelers Network. So once you are creating an account, because this like deals with the government, they actually take it a step further, and you have to, it's like a 2-step verification process. So even after logging in, like how I just did, it sends me a one-time code that expires in 10 minutes. So that's what I'm about to input. And then I'm going to click remember this browser, because I do everything with my phone or my laptop. Because I've already created an account, but at the top it's going to give you your login credentials, your name, and then it's going to give you your membership number and like pass ID. I feel like that portion is important in regards to like continuing the process of the global entry, even up to the in-person interview. So on the home page of the Trusted Travelers Network, it basically, in layman's terms, breaks everything down for you. Because going through the home page before you just click on global entry apply, you know, just see what may benefit you. Just because these do not apply to me does not mean it may not apply to you. So before you even start the process, after you click apply now, another message pops up and they say consider TSA pre-check if traveling within the US. Because somebody can just watch this video and be like, oh, I need global entry because I watched Brianna's video. And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you need global entry. What I'm saying is you're able to determine when you go onto the home screen of Trusted Travelers Network which program may benefit you. Global entry benefits me because I travel internationally more than like 4 to 5 times a year. But for you, in your case, TSA pre-check may benefit you over global entry because of the simple fact that you travel heavily within the US. When you go on to the first step, that there's 8 steps that you do need to complete. And each step is titled. So the first step, personal info. So that's when you will pull out your passport and enter the personal information that it asks. Last name, surname, first name, middle name, date of birth, city of birth, country of birth, state of birth, email address, phone number, gender, eye color, height. Part 2 is in regards to documents. So in this step, they ask you about your citizenship. I am a United States citizen. Why did I have to think about that? I promise you I'm a United States citizen. So it asks you specific questions in regards to information listed on your passport. Make sure you enter that information correctly. Take your time. Do what I'm doing. Isolate yourself. Go to a coffee shop. Go somewhere, you know, secluded in your residence. Pull out your laptop. Make sure you're doing this at a desk. Do not do this process in your bed. Yes, I'm telling you, do not do this process in your bed, because this is a serious process. Like, it's kind of like filing for your taxes. Like, you don't want to just be putting anything or messing up during this, you know, process. So have your documents laid out. Make sure it's a well-lit area. Yes, I'm going into detail on this video. You know, do what I'm doing and just light yourself a nice candle so it can just, you know, get you in the mood. Part 2 is heavily in relation with your passport, because that is one of the identifications that I have to justify that I am a US citizen. All right. just be talking sometimes. Like I just need a refresh. Step 3 deals with your driver's license. Does global entry have an age restriction? That's another question I'm going to ask Google, and I'm going to put that answer on the screen. Because I feel like if your mama be back and forth traveling international, then why can't the child get the same benefits and also have global entry to expedite that process? For example, is this an enhanced driver's license EDL? I do not even know what an EDL is, but I know, but basically I just looked at my driver's license and I think I have a basic, you just drive from A to B, highway approved driver's license. So I answered that question with a no. Now when it asks, is this a commercial driver's license, CDL? I know a lot of truck drivers to know that CDL, I think it's a commercial driver's license. And no, I do not have one of those. So I answered no as well. Moving along to step number 4. Step number 4 is vehicle info. And I did not have to fill out that portion of the application because it says you have not added a vehicle as part of your application, because I am not doing any type of transportation by land to where I would need to like input my vehicle information. But then again, if I may have done this process wrong, but it approved me. So I feel like if they really did like just need, okay, what you driving, like what, you know, what's attached to your car, then they would have told me like right then and here. In regards to step number 5, address info. In this process, it lets you know at the top, we want to know of all of your residences for the past 5 to 6 previous years. So that is the reason why I'm telling you to not apply for the global entry process sitting on your bed, because you need a table so that way you can actually pull out your documents. Because during this process, I've not been in this current apartment for like the past 5 to 6 years that applies for the global entry like time frame. My first initial lease of when I first lived into this apartment, because it had the initial date, because they want to know the month and the year of the start date of when you lived like in your present residence. And then prior to that, I had to then put an account for where I was staying prior to me living in my residence. This step will be a lot more time consuming for somebody who has couch surfed along with lived in multiple states. So if you was living in another state prior to the pandemic that hit in 2020, you're gonna have to input that information. Now step number 6, employment information. So in regards to employment information, they also had a time frame of when you had to like go back, like dig in the files, because the first year of previous employment that I inputted started in 2017. So they were looking for a time frame all the way back starting in 2017. And then from there, they want you to not have any gaps of employment history. So from 2017 all the way to 2023, current day, I had to fill in those employment histories without leaving any gaps. Now that part, it did take me some time to fill out because I may not move around a lot residence wise, but one thing about me, I'm a hop from job to job. So in the midst of me hopping from job to job in a situation like this, I had to really like dig in those files to figure out, okay, well, when did I start working this job in 2017? What was my end date? When did I start working my new job? What was my end date? And you want to be as accurate. This is not no resume that you are finna fornicate. This is not no resume that you are finna fornicate.
This is not no resume that you are finna fornicate.
I just want y'all to know that because you are dealing with the government. So this is not something where it's just like, okay, well, you know, since they asking for employment history and I just can't remember off the top of my head, I'm just gonna put that I used to bartend from 2017 to 2021 since I just can't remember, and then I'll just put from 2021 to 2023 my current employment. No, do not do that, because the whole point of this like process is everything needs to be like verified. I do want to also add that they ask for the phone numbers along with the addresses of the employments that you list. So that's what I mean. I really had to dig in them files. I even had to pull up Google to figure out what is, you know, the address, what is the phone number to these employments that I've worked. So in regards to step number 7, it's titled travel history. Now, filling out this part, I really had to get my handy dandy notebook and really jot down. During this process, I even had to refer back to YouTube because I've traveled some of my experiences. That does not even make sense. I have documented some of my experiences in regards to travel. So, have you traveled to countries other than the US, Canada, and Mexico since January of 2018? I responded yes, and they want you to list all of your prior international travels. And now I can add, you know, Paris, because I just got back from Paris like less than 3 weeks ago, so that was my most recent travel. So yes, that is living proof that I need global entry, because I'm sad of waiting in them long lines. I'm tired. When I just recently flew from Atlanta to Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris, France, global entry does not benefit me once I land in Paris, because I was looking around to see, like, as I'm waiting in the like customs lines, because they have to look at your passport, and if a visa is needed, they have to, you know, seek your visa. But I was looking around to see, because them lines was long. Them Paris Charles de Gaulle lines at that airport, now those were long. And this was like at 6 o'clock in the morning, because as the global entry application says, a lot of international flights arrive at airports around the same time. But I was like in line looking for, like, is there a global entry kiosk? Like, if I would have had global entry at this time, would this have expedited my time waiting in line? But looking at the definition of like what is global entry, it only benefits you coming back from an international travel landing into the United States. So hopefully that example kind of like helped y'all understand, because it helped me understand.
It's not that I don't want you here. It's something about the way you stare into my eyes. I know that I don't make things clear.
Alright, so I got my phone right here for the last step. We're on the last step. We're almost on. We're almost done. I cannot even talk. We're almost done. The last step is step number 8. It says additional info. So these are background questions. Going through this process is tied into like a background check. That's why these questions are asked. So yes, they gonna get in your personal business, and you should not have a problem with that, because you're dealing with the government. Have you been convicted of a criminal offense in the United States or any other country? Or any other country. That is important to know. Just because you may not get a little antsy in the US, they still care about if you got a little antsy when you was taking that trip in Punta Cana with your boys. Like, they want to know about all of that. Have you ever been arrested or had charges that were expunged or removed? If yes, please describe. During this process, be as truthful as possible, because you may have done something in your past that you were not proud of. We all We all have a past, I know. You do not want to play around with the government because it's only going to make you look stupid at the end of the day. So just be as truthful as possible. If you get denied, you get denied. But they at least ask you to explain if you answered yes. And then, have you ever been found in violation of an immigration law? No, because I don't play around with law like that, okay? After you complete the 8 steps of this process, you will be directed to the portion of you having to pay. It's important to know applying for global entry is not free 99. I don't know who lied to you, but I'm here to tell you it is not free 99. It is $100. You have to click on this box because they want you to know. They want it to be 100% clear. This fee that you're paying for global entry is non-refundable, and it cannot be transferred to another application like TSA or any type of, ground transportation that we talked about at the beginning of this video. So it can't be transferred or exchanged. Because this is a very lengthy process, especially for some of y'all who are going to have to dig into those, documents to make sure everything lines up. You are able to save and exit the application. So this is not an application process that you have to fill out in one setting. So once everything was filled out, it actually let me know right then and there that my application for global entry is pending review. The next step or process that I will be discussing is the interview process. Me personally, I want to go through the interview process before I sit on camera and talk to y'all about anything in regards to the interview process, because I want that to also be detailed. So I will need to actually go through with the interview process so that way I can let y'all know what's tea. Thank you so much for tuning into this lengthy video. Y'all know my videos be lengthy because I just feel like I be having to talk to y'all and give y'all all the tea in depth. Because like I said, me personally, before even applying for global entry, I wasn't even really too sure about what global entry was and why it would benefit me. So now hopefully you also have a clear understanding of exactly what global entry is. If you have any questions in general in regards to my video today, definitely comment down below so that way I can just answer everyone's questions in a whole. I prefer if you comment on the video versus going to my Instagram to DM me, only because other people may have those same questions.
It's not that I don't